Next speaker is Greg, followed by Moramir Sharab, followed by Wendy Wrench.
Well, it's been a while since I've been here, but the last name is Kriz, so there's no vowels in that. I live about a half mile from the project site, and so just to be brief tonight, I am in support of the project. Many other people have been up here and more eloquently spoken in favor of the project. I do believe, though, that there are some cautionary tales that have been told from the opponent's side. Traffic was an issue I brought up 3.5 years ago with the mall. And from that standpoint, it appears the bandwagon has finally caught up. So this project, from a lack of information maybe that has been maybe made available publicly, the Rory Paw subdivision, which many of you are probably familiar with, will improve the entire road situation along Nicholas. I don't see this project as a major traffic problem. I don't see it as a major parking problem. Driving by it every Sunday morning, the existing churches spill out of their parking lots already onto the existing roadways. This project has, in excess of 30 or 40 additional parking spaces for what they actually need based upon their proposed square footage. So again, just to wrap it up, I'm in support of the project. I am a local neighbor who lives about a half mile away.
Next speaker is Moramir Sharab, followed by Wendy Wrench, followed by Ernie White.
Good evening. It's very hard actually to hear all that that's been going on. I know the opposition, even on their website, they talk about a smoking gun, and there's 2 smoking guns they're talking about. It's actually I admire them for their planning and assigning people to speak on a different subject. And deep behind and actually deep under, there is much more than what they're talking about. It's more than the traffic, it's more than the parking, because everything actually, I don't think we have about 17 or 20 experts on traffic or can do traffic studies. They have companies that spend a lot of times and lots of money to do that. So the smoking guns actually, they have 2 smoking guns they're talking about, and they want you to consider is the safety of the children. As everybody heard, first of all, the earlier prayers from 5:36, maximum will have 5-6 people. They'll have maybe like 3-4 cars. I believe 3 or 4 cars not going to create a congestion. In the evening, it's about, maybe it's a larger number. It goes about 10 people. In 10 people, about another 5 or 6 cars. It doesn't create a congestion. The second smoking gun, actually, they were talking about is those people, they have agendas. Yeah, we do have agendas. We want to have actually our center like everybody else. We want to worship in a nice place. As the Imam said, you come to our place, it's a warehouse. You cannot actually invite anybody in there. Even if you invite some people from outside, you're kind of actually embarrassed because it's not adequate facility to bring in there. Even like our bathrooms, the prayer halls and all that. So smoking guns they're talking about is people, they're going to be we're talking about Sharia law and stuff like that. Years ago it was jihadist, now the buzzword is Sharia law. To change the constitution, you need about 2/3 of Senate to be in favor with you, or the Congress to be, the majority of the people in the Congress to be in favor of you to change or implement Sharia law. So but the point behind actually is just people are fearing. They don't want the mosque to be built. And the thing about it is, the people been living here for 12 years. Is it the people they are concerned about the structure, the building, or the people? If they're concerned about the structure, how is the structure actually going to change people? And if they're concerned about the people, those people have been here for 12 years. And I work in the medical field, and before actually submit anything to the FDA, you have to do clinical trials.
You need to wrap it up, sir.
Sure. Once you do a clinical trial based on history, that's when the FDA actually approve it. So if those people have evidence to show that we're bad, we're trying to implement Sharia law, we're bringing people that teach our kids to be jihadists, whatever, come on, show it. And if you have the evidence, show it. It's the burden on us to prove it otherwise. Thank you.
Next speaker is Wendy Wrench, followed by Ernie White, followed by Samir Bakslaman.
My name is Wendy Wrench. I'm married to the pastor.
of Calvary Baptist Church. We have been here in the valley for 23 years. We've been on that property for 18 years. We live near the church, just a half-mile away. In the traffic study, they did not do a traffic study on Kai Medusa and Nicholas. Right there, there are several accidents all the time on that corner. There's only a stop sign across the street from each other. It's not even a three-way stop. There's been many accidents there. In the last 18 years, 23 years, we have had 4 building projects now. We are a growing congregation. We run between 300 and 330. Right now, if you were to see our congregation, the way that we park on Sundays, we use our parking lot, which you already know we have 116 spaces. We then park perpendicular on the Muslims' property because nobody's been using that property. And we'll have 30, 35 cars down that way. What I'm saying is our parking isn't even for our 330 people. It isn't sufficient. What they're now proposing is to have more people and to have the parking not to cover that amount of people. We live this experience every Sunday. We have one driveway out of our parking lot, then on the small road to get out onto Nicholas Road. It is takes a long time for us to empty our parking lot just to get out of our property. I did not even know that the Muslims had services on Sunday mornings. So now they're going to be trying to come out just across the streets from us of our parking lot, and we're supposed to be yielding together out on that road and then coming out. It is going to be a traffic nightmare on Sunday mornings. Now, I know they say that they have the minarets without the loudspeakers. I am also concerned that they are going to put those in, even without permission. And if they do, does my husband stop preaching while they're ringing their bells? We go over 12 o'clock sometimes, and if they have a bell that's going off at 12 o'clock for a call to prayers, does our congregation have to stop for this new congregation? That's one of my concerns also. And then what would our recourse be?
Please wrap it up.
Okay. I'm going to let you know our ladies are scared. There is a fear factor because of 9/11, Fort Hood, and incidences in Portland this last week. We are just citizens, and we are ladies, and we are concerned about our safety, and we're concerned about having the mosque right beside us. We say stop it.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ernie White, followed by Samir Baslamet, followed by Mahmoud Chudhar.
Thank you for having us. My name is Ernie White, and I am not going to repeat what everybody else has said, so I had to change my speech about 7 times so far. I'm going to start off with an article in the newspaper, San Diego newspaper, November 3rd. San Diego imam among those charged with aiding Somali terrorists. The arrest of the leader of a City Heights mosque, a man described as a revered figure who was known for advocating nonviolence and tolerance, has stunned the close-knit Somali community, where many refugees of the war-torn country live, work, and pray. Here's what's interesting. They thought he was like a moderate. His own people were stunned. Next, I want to talk about, since we heard about Pakistan, Christian woman is being sentenced to death in Pakistan for simply saying Jesus is Lord. I haven't heard one moderate Muslim stand up for her yet. She's being sentenced to death for saying Jesus is Lord.
Please.
In Iran, I want to stand up for Ashti Ani. She is the woman who is going to be hung because she was accused of adultery. I'm standing up for her because the only reason she's going to be hung is because Christians stood up for her to prevent her from being stoned. This is Sharia law. I keep hearing Sharia law isn't going to come to America, but folks, it's already here. If you go to Citibank, you're going to find out that Citibank now does Sharia financing. If you go to Texas, you're going to find out that there is actually a Sharia court in Texas. If you go to some schools in San Diego, you're going to find out that they actually are able to get up and do their call to worship in San Diego.
Why not?
Hey, people, please, let the man finish. No comments.
I am still asking this imam here today to denounce Hamas. I'm going to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Samir Batlamet, followed by Mahmoud, followed by Mohammed Weeba.
Good evening. I thought I was prepared to come and talk to all of you, but seeing all of you look tired, serious, and all these tensions happening this evening, I thought maybe I'll add some humor a bit. Years ago in Washington, D.C., a friend of mine from French Morocco used to go and have some lunch. And this is really happened. And he doesn't speak English, so we went. He always asked for apple pie and coffee. So one day I could not go with him, and he told me what to say. I said, "What do you want to eat?" He says, "Hamburger." I said, "Okay, ask for a cheeseburger, French fries, onions, and lettuce and tomatoes, and apple pie and coffee." So he walked the 2 blocks, kept repeating those things over and over again. By the time he got to the restaurant and he sat down, the waitress asked him, "What would you like to have?" He said, "Apple pie and coffee." Anyway, well, I tried. Okay, now what I want to say is I been living in Calais, in Temecula for 20 years. I love it. It's a family-oriented. It has a beautiful government, beautiful, good schools, a lot of churches, and synagogue. I have 2 careers in America. I'm very proud to be American. I was told for a long time that I'm a good model, American model. So the second career was in the helping profession. I did that for 25 years, working with abused children and families for Riverside County. And I'm retired right now, and I happen to be Muslim. So after all these years, you mean to tell me that I can't have my own house of worship to go and worship like everybody else? And what I would like to is to invite the people who are opposed to our mosque. We like to extend our hands to you. Please come over. We will answer any question you want. We'll welcome you among us. And we'll even have potluck, but don't bring your own drink. So in any case, I do...
Sir, please wrap it up.
I do urge you, and I'm not going to tell you your job, but please, we are in America, we have Constitution, we abide by the Constitution, and just want to hope we will have the mosque. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Muhammad, followed by Mohammed, followed by Ken Engelman.
Good evening. My name is Mahmoud Chaudhry, and I'm living here in Temecula since 1991. And I work here locally. There is a company across the street here, International Rectifier, since 91. And the reason I stay here, my family, with my two sons and 1 daughter, because we love this community. It was wonderful, the family values and the niceness, and I complete my education, my BS, Masters, PhDs in electrical engineering here in US. And I have very good experience, US experience, and Temecula. And every time I travel outside the country, I'm proud to be American. And I tell how great the America is. And then I learn is there is so many misunderstanding in the world, just like some of my fellow citizens here have misconception about Islam. Many of the Middle Eastern countries or other countries, they have